It was the night before Christmas in Mousetown, and the entire town was alive with holiday cheer. Snowflakes swirled gently through the air, settling on rooftops and twinkling lights that adorned every house. In the cozy warmth of their cottage, Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse were wrapping gifts by the crackling fire. The tree stood tall in the corner, its ornaments reflecting the golden glow of the room. Minnie carefully tied a ribbon on a gift and sighed contentedly. "Everything's perfect, Mickey. Tomorrow is going to be magical." Mickey grinned, placing another wrapped present under the tree. "You bet, Minnie. Nothing could go wrong on Christmas Eve." As if on cue, a sudden thud echoed from outside. Mickey and Minnie exchanged startled glances and hurried to the window. What they saw made them gasp. A sleigh had crashed into the snowbank outside their home, its reindeer tangled in the reins. And standing amidst the wreckage, brushing snow from his red coat, was none other than Santa Claus himself. Mickey flung open the door. "Santa, what happened?" Santa turned, his face red with exertion. "Oh, Mickey, Minnie, thank goodness you're here. A terrible storm blew me off course, and now my sleigh is damaged. I can't deliver the presents without it." Minnie clasped her hands to her mouth. "But Santa, Christmas depends on you." Santa nodded solemnly. "I know. That's why I need your help. There's an old workshop deep in the Evergreen Mountains where I keep spare sleigh parts. If we can retrieve them, we might still save Christmas." Mickey saluted. "You can count on us, Santa!" Without a moment to lose, Mickey and Minnie bundled up in their warmest coats and scarves. Santa hitched his reindeer to a sturdy wooden sled and handed Mickey the reins. "These reindeer will guide you to the workshop, but be careful, the storm is still raging, and the mountains are full of surprises." The sled shot off into the snowy night, with the wind whipping past them. The Evergreen Mountains loomed ahead, their peaks shrouded in mist. The reindeer galloped tirelessly, their glowing harnesses cutting through the dark. As they entered the mountain pass, the storm intensified. Snow swirled in blinding flurries, and the sled bumped over jagged ice. Suddenly, a shadow darted across their path, and the sled skidded to a halt. Emerging from the snowstorm was a pack of mischievous snow gremlins, their beady eyes glinting with mischief. "Look what we have here," cackled the leader, a squat creature with icicles dangling from his ears. "A couple of lost mice, and they're carrying Santa's reindeer." Minnie clutched Mickey's arm. "Mickey, they're after the sled!" Thinking quickly, Mickey grabbed a bag of Christmas cookies Santa had packed for their journey. "You want something? Try this!" he shouted, tossing the cookies into the snow. The gremlins, distracted by the treats, dove after them, giving Mickey and Minnie just enough time to steer the sled back onto the path. "Nice thinking, Mickey," Minnie said as they sped away. The gremlins faded into the storm, but new challenges awaited. The path grew narrower, flanked by towering ice cliffs. Just as they thought they were in the clear, a massive avalanche thundered down the mountainside. "Mickey, the sleigh!" Minnie shouted, her voice nearly drowned out by the roaring snow. With quick reflexes, Mickey veered the sled into a hidden cave, the reindeer galloping to safety just as the avalanche buried the path behind them. The cave sparkled with ice crystals, their light casting shimmering rainbows on the walls. "That was close," Minnie said, her breath visible in the icy air. "Too close," Mickey agreed. "But look!" At the far end of the cave was a massive iron door adorned with carvings of snowflakes and reindeer. Above it was a plaque that read, "Santa's Workshop Authorized Elves Only." "This must be it!" Minnie exclaimed. They pushed the heavy door open and stepped into a magical workshop filled with tools, half-built toys, and rows of spare sleigh parts. A golden glow filled the room, and in the center stood the replacement sleigh runners Santa had described. Mickey and Minnie worked together to load the parts onto the sled, but as they turned to leave, the ground began to tremble. From the shadows emerged a towering ice golem, its body made entirely of jagged frost. Its glowing blue eyes fixed on the sled. "No one takes from the workshop," it bellowed, its voice echoing like thunder. Minnie grabbed Mickey's hand. "What do we do now?" "Distract him," Mickey said, grabbing a toy trumpet from a nearby shelf. He blew into it, creating a high-pitched squeal that made the golem wince. As the creature stumbled, the reindeer charged forward, pulling the sled out of the workshop just as the golem reached for them. they burst out of the cave and into the snowy night. The storm had calmed, and the path back to Mouseton was clear. Mickey and Minnie raced down the mountain, their hearts pounding with relief. When they returned to Santa, he was overjoyed. "You did it," he said, his eyes twinkling with gratitude. Together, they repaired the sleigh, attaching the shiny new runners just in time for Santa to continue his deliveries. As Santa prepared to take off, he turned to Mickey and Minnie. "I can't thank you enough. You've saved Christmas." Mickey smiled. "All in a night's work, Santa." Santa climbed into his sleigh, the reindeer pawing eagerly at the snow. "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night," he called as he soared into the sky, his sleigh trailing a stream of golden stardust. Mickey and Minnie stood together in the snow, watching Santa disappear into the stars. Minnie leaned against Mickey, a warm smile on her face. "This will be a Christmas to remember." "And the best part," Mickey said, taking her hand, "is that it's only just beginning." The two mice returned to their cozy cottage, where the fire crackled and their tree glowed brightly. Outside, the first light of Christmas morning began to peek over the horizon, filling the world with a gentle, magical glow. The soft glow of Christmas morning filled Mouseton as Mickey and Minnie returned to their cottage. The snow shimmered like diamonds under the first rays of sunlight, and the air buzzed with the joy of the season. Inside their home, the warmth of the crackling fire and the aroma of freshly baked cookies wrapped around them like a comforting hug. "That was some adventure, huh, Minnie?" Mickey said, setting his boots by the door. "Unforgettable," Minnie replied with a smile, placing her scarf on a hook. She gazed out the window at the twinkling sky. "I wonder if Santa's finishing his rounds." Just then, a loud knock on the door startled them. Exchanging curious glances, Mickey opened it to find an elf standing on the porch. He was no taller than a snowman's middle, dressed in a green and red uniform with a tool belt bristling with candy cane-shaped wrenches. His hat was slightly askew, and his round glasses magnified his anxious eyes. "Are you Mickey and Minnie?" the elf asked, his voice high-pitched and hurried. "That's us," Mickey said. "What's the matter?" The elf wrung his hands. "There's a problem at the North Pole. Santa sent me to get you. He needs your help again." Minnie gasped. "The North Pole? What happened?" "Someone's sabotaging Santa's workshop," the elf explained. "The toy production line has stopped, and Christmas magic is acting strange. We think it's Jack Frost." Mickey frowned. Jack Frost was a trickster known for causing chaos wherever he went. If he was involved, the situation was serious. Mickey glanced at Minnie, whose expression of determination matched his own. "Lead the way," Mickey said. The elf pulled a sparkling snow globe from his pocket. "Hold on to this," he instructed. As soon as Mickey and Minnie placed their hands on the globe, a whirlwind of glittering snow surrounded them. When the flurry cleared, they stood in the middle of Santa's workshop. The scene was chaotic. Conveyor belts that should have been buzzing with activity were eerily still. Toys lay half-assembled, and elves scurried around, their faces filled with worry. Santa stood near the main control panel, his usually rosy cheeks pale with concern. "Santa!" Minnie exclaimed, rushing over. "We came as fast as we could." Santa turned to them, relief softening his features. "Oh, Mickey, Minnie, thank you for coming. Jack Frost has frozen the main control mechanisms. Without them, I can't finish the toys, and the magic that powers Christmas will fade." Mickey cracked his knuckles. "Sounds like we've got some work to do." The elf who brought them, whose name was Tinker, pointed toward a towering machine at the workshop's heart. Its gears were encased in ice so thick it glowed blue. "That's the Frost Nexus," Tinker explained. "It's where Jack Frost has concentrated his magic. If we can unfreeze it, the workshop will start up again." "Where's Jack now?" Minnie asked. "Causing trouble in the ice gardens," Santa said. "He's trying to keep us too distracted to stop him." "Then we'll divide and conquer," Mickey said. "Minnie and I will take care of Jack. Tinker, you and Santa figure out how to unfreeze the Nexus." With a nod of agreement, Mickey and Minnie set off toward the ice gardens, a sprawling area behind the workshop filled with glittering sculptures and frosted hedges. The gardens were eerily silent as they entered, their breath fogging in the cold air. Suddenly, an echoing laugh pierced the stillness. "Well, if it isn't Mickey and Minnie," Jack Frost appeared atop an icy fountain, his spiky hair glinting like icicles. He twirled a staff that shimmered with frost magic, his grin as sharp as the chill in the air. "Come to spoil my fun?" "You've gone too far this time, Jack," Mickey called. "Christmas is about spreading joy, not freezing it." Jack laughed, leaping down to the ground. "Oh, please! Joy is overrated. Chaos is so much more entertaining." He waved his staff, and the ground beneath Mickey and Minnie turned to slick ice. They slid uncontrollably toward a row of snow golems that had come to life, their frosty forms blocking the path forward. Minnie acted fast, grabbing a string of holiday lights from her bag. "Mickey, grab the other end," she shouted. Together, they lassoed the snow golems, causing them to crash into each other and crumble into harmless piles of snow. Jack Frost narrowed his eyes. "Not bad, but can you handle this?" He summoned a flurry of snowflakes that hardened into spinning ice blades, sending them flying toward the pair. Mickey grabbed a candy cane-shaped pole from a nearby decoration and used it to bat the ice blades away like a baseball star. Minnie, meanwhile, climbed onto the frozen fountain where Jack stood moments before. "Hey, Jack," she called, holding up a bundle of jingle bells. As he turned, she tossed the bells at his staff. The enchanted jingles disrupted his magic, causing the frost to melt slightly. "Why, you little," Jack growled, but Mickey tackled him, sending his staff flying. With his magic weakened, Jack's frosty demeanor faltered. "Fine, you win this time," he muttered, vanishing into a cloud of snow. With Jack gone, Mickey and Minnie hurried back to the workshop. Inside, Santa and Tinker had made progress, but the frost nexus was still partially frozen. Mickey handed Santa Jack's staff. "Maybe this can help." Santa examined it with a twinkle in his eye. "Brilliant idea, Mickey." He pointed the staff at the frozen gears, and the remaining ice melted away. The frost nexus whirred to life, and the entire workshop lit up with golden light. Conveyor belts rumbled, toys rolled off the assembly lines, and the elves cheered as Christmas magic surged back to full strength. "You've saved Christmas again," Santa said, beaming. "I don't know how I can ever thank you." "Just seeing the joy on everyone's faces is thanks enough," Minnie said with a smile. As Santa climbed into his now fully restored sleigh, he waved down to Mickey and Minnie. "Merry Christmas to you both. You've made this a holiday to remember." As the sleigh disappeared into the starry sky, Mickey and Minnie walked back through the workshop, the sounds of laughter and celebration all around them. "Think we'll get a quiet Christmas next year?" Minnie teased. Mickey chuckled, putting an arm around her. "With us, Minnie, I wouldn't count on it, and that's just the way I like it." They shared a laugh, their hearts full of the true spirit of Christmas, courage, kindness, and a little bit of holiday magic. As the joy of Christmas spread through the North Pole and beyond, Mickey and Minnie basked in the glow of their adventure, thinking their work was done. But just as they prepared to leave Santa's workshop and head home to Mouseton, the sky above the snowy expanse darkened ominously. A biting wind swirled through the air, carrying with it a whisper that made the elves pause mid-celebration. Santa, standing by his sleigh, froze as frost crept up the edges of the workshop windows. "This isn't right," he muttered, his jovial tone replaced with concern. "Jack Frost may be gone, but something else is happening." Before anyone could respond, Tinker, the elf who had guided Mickey and Minnie earlier, came rushing into the room, his glasses fogged with frost. "Santa! The Frost Stone is missing!" Minnie frowned. "What's the Frost Stone?" "It's an ancient artifact that powers the balance of winter magic," Santa explained, stroking his beard. "Without it, the North Polian Christmas magic itself could collapse into eternal frost." Mickey's eyes widened. "But who could have taken it? We stopped Jack Frost." Just then, a deep, booming laugh echoed through the workshop, shaking the walls. Frost patterns on the windows formed into the sinister shape of a face neither Mickey nor Minnie recognized. Santa's face darkened. "It's not Jack this time," he said grimly. "That's Blizzardbane, the ancient spirit of the frozen north. He's been dormant for centuries, but it seems he's awoken, and he's after more than just Christmas magic." The frosty face sneered. "You think your little holiday is safe? Without the Frost Stone, I'll plunge the entire world into an endless winter. Prepare to witness the true power of the frozen north." With that, the face dissolved into a whirlwind of ice, and the temperature in the workshop plummeted. Santa turned to Mickey and Minnie. I hate to ask you for more, but Blizzardbane won't stop unless we retrieve the Frost Stone. It's kept in the Ice-Aspire Glacier, a fortress deep within the Arctic wilderness. You've already proven yourselves. Will you help again? Minnie stepped forward, determination in her eyes. Of course, Santa. We can't let Blizzardbane ruin Christmas or the world. Mickey nodded, gripping Minnie's hand. We're in. Let's stop this frosty fiend. Santa guided them to the reindeer stables, where a special sleigh waited, a sleek, silver vehicle equipped with enchanted runners designed for speed and agility. Tinker handed Mickey a glowing compass. This will lead you to the Ice-Aspire Glacier, but be careful. Blizzardbane controls the weather in that region. The journey will be dangerous. With a final wave from Santa and the elves, Mickey and Minnie set off into the frigid wilderness. The enchanted sleigh zipped through the snow, its glowing runners leaving a trail of light. The compass pointed them north, where jagged peaks loomed against the stormy horizon. As they approached the Ice-Spire Glacier, the wind howled louder, and snow whipped around them in blinding flurries. Suddenly, the compass began to spin erratically. Mickey, something's wrong, Minnie said, clutching his arm. Before Mickey could respond, the snow beneath them gave way, and the sleigh plummeted into an icy chasm. They tumbled through a maze of tunnels, finally sliding to a stop in a cavern lit by an eerie blue glow. Where are we? Minnie whispered, her voice echoing off the icy walls. Mickey brushed snow off his coat. Looks like Blizzardbane's trying to slow us down. But we can't stop now, look. In the center of the cavern stood a massive ice gate, its surface engraved with ancient symbols. The frost stone's faint glow shimmered through the cracks. But as they approached, the ground shook, and a massive creature emerged, a frost guardian, its body made of ice and snow, its glowing eyes locked on them. Minnie grabbed Mickey's hand. We've got to outsmart it, Mickey! Using the enchanted compass, Mickey noticed that the guardian hesitated near certain parts of the cavern. It's avoiding the sunlight coming through those cracks, he realized. Minnie quickly tied a reflective ornament from her bag to the compass. Let's give it something to be scared of. Mickey used the ornament to reflect beams of sunlight onto the guardian, causing it to retreat. With the path clear, they pushed open the ice gate and entered the heart of the glacier. Inside, the frost stone hovered above a swirling vortex of ice magic, its power pulsating through the room. But standing before it was Blizzardbane, his towering form crackling with frost energy. You think you can stop me, little mice? He growled, his voice rumbling like an avalanche. Mickey stepped forward. We've faced tougher foes than you, Blizzardbane. Blizzardbane raised a hand, summoning icicles that shot toward them like missiles. Mickey and Minnie dodged, using their sleigh as cover. Thinking quickly, Minnie reached into her pocket and pulled out one of Santa's enchanted jingle bells. Mickey, distract him, she shouted. Mickey grabbed a snowball and hurled it at Blizzardbane's face. Hey, Frosty, bet you can't catch me! While Blizzardbane turned his attention to Mickey, Minnie threw the jingle bell into the vortex. The bell's magic clashed with the icy energy, causing a burst of light that filled the room. Blizzardbane roared in anger as his frost magic began to unravel. No, you meddling mice! The frost stone, now free of his control, floated down into Minnie's hands. She turned to Mickey, who raced back to her side. Together, they placed the stone into a pedestal at the center of the room. The glacier trembled as the balance of winter magic was restored. Blizzardbane's form dissolved into harmless snow, and the storm outside calmed. Exhausted but triumphant, Mickey and Minnie climbed back into their sleigh. The compass, now glowing steadily, guided them safely out of the glacier and back to the North Pole. When they returned, Santa and the elves greeted them with cheers. The frost stone was placed back in its rightful spot, and the balance of Christmas magic was fully restored. You two are true Christmas heroes, Santa said, his eyes twinkling with gratitude. Thanks to you, the world can enjoy the holiday season in peace. Minnie smiled, leaning against Mickey. It's all in a day's work, Santa. As they waved goodbye and prepared to return to Mouston, the stars above the North Pole twinkled brighter than ever, a reminder of the courage and teamwork that had saved Christmas and the world from eternal frost. After returning home from their heroic adventure, Mickey and Minnie settled into a peaceful post-Christmas evening. Snow fell gently outside their cozy cottage, and the fireplace crackled warmly as they sipped hot cocoa. Everything seemed perfect, but in their hearts, they knew that their recent exploits at the North Pole would remain unforgettable. Yet, as the clock struck midnight, the room filled with a soft, shimmering light. Startled, Mickey and Minnie watched as a translucent figure appeared, a regal snow owl with feathers that glowed like moonlight. The owl's eyes sparkled with intelligence and urgency. "Greetings, Mickey and Minnie," the owl said in a melodic voice. "I am Borealis, guardian of the Arctic relics. Your bravery has saved the Froststone, but another threat has emerged." Blizzardbane's defeat awakened an ancient relic known as the Winter Crown, and it is far too powerful for mortal hands. If it falls into the wrong hands, it could plunge the world into an age of endless ice. Mickey sat up straight. "The Winter Crown? Where is it now?" Borealis ruffled its glowing feathers. "Hidden in the crystal abyss, far beneath the Arctic Ocean. But even now, others seek it. I need your help to retrieve the crown and return it to the Aurora Vault, where its power will remain safe." Minnie nodded without hesitation. "We'll do whatever it takes, Borealis." The owl extended a wing, and shimmering snowflakes swirled around Mickey and Minnie. In an instant, they were transported to the edge of the Arctic Ocean, where an enormous icebreaker ship awaited. The vessel's captain, a rugged polar bear named Captain Frostclaw, greeted them with a hearty laugh. "So, you're the famous mice, eh? Santa sent word about your heroics. Welcome aboard the North Star. We've got a treacherous voyage ahead." The North Star sliced through the icy waters, its enchanted hull glowing with protective magic. Borealis perched on the mast, scanning the horizon as Captain Frostclaw navigated through icebergs and freezing winds. As night fell, the auroras danced across the sky, their light reflecting off the ocean's surface. But the peace didn't last long. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently, and a massive shadow loomed beneath the water. Mickey and Minnie rushed to the deck as a colossal sea serpent surfaced, its scales shimmering like icy crystals. "It's the Guardian of the Abyss," Borealis cried. "It protects the crystal abyss and will not let us pass easily." The serpent lashed out, its tail creating waves that threatened to capsize the ship. Captain Frostclaw barked orders to his crew, but it was clear they needed a clever plan. "Minnie, I've got an idea," Mickey shouted, grabbing a net filled with glowing fish bait from the deck. "Help me toss this overboard." Minnie quickly tied a string of enchanted lights to the net, creating a dazzling lure. Together, they threw it into the water. The serpent hesitated, its glowing eyes fixated on the shimmering bait. Slowly, it followed the lights, allowing the North Star to slip past. "That was some quick thinking," Captain Frostclaw said, clapping Mickey on the back. As the ship reached the crystal abyss, Borealis guided them to a hidden cave beneath the ice. Inside, the walls sparkled with frozen crystals, and the air was thick with magic. At the cave's center stood the Winter Crown, resting on a pedestal surrounded by swirling frost energy. But they weren't alone. A shadowy figure emerged from the depths of the cave, a mysterious Arctic fox named Glaciana. Her sleek, silver fur shimmered as she approached, her eyes cold and calculating. "Well, well," Glaciana purred. "The heroes of the North Pole. You're too late, the Winter Crown belongs to me now." "Why do you want the crown?" Minnie demanded. Glaciana smirked. "With its power, I can command the seasons. No more waiting for winter to reign. I'll cover the world in eternal frost and rule over it as the Ice Empress." Mickey stepped forward. "Not if we have anything to say about it." Glaciana raised a paw, and the frost energy around the crown surged, creating icy constructs that moved to block Mickey and Minnie. The constructs lunged, but Minnie quickly used her scarf to trip one, causing it to shatter. Mickey grabbed a shard of enchanted ice from the ground and used it to deflect the others. Meanwhile, Glaciana donned the Winter Crown, its magic encasing her in armor made of ice and snow. "You can't stop me now," she declared, her voice echoing with power. Borealis swooped down, his glowing feathers creating a protective barrier around Mickey and Minnie. "The crown is too powerful, it will consume her if she continues to use it. We must remove it before it's too late." Minnie looked at Mickey, her eyes filled with determination. "We need to outsmart her, Mickey. Let's use the cave against her." Mickey nodded, and together they lured Glaciana toward a cluster of delicate ice stalactites hanging above the pedestal. As she charged, her frost magic destabilized the cave, causing the stalactites to break free. One of them struck the crown, knocking it from her head. "No!" Glaciana cried as the crown fell to the ground. Without its power, her icy armor shattered, and she collapsed in defeat. Minnie carefully picked up the winter crown, its magic pulsing faintly. "This belongs in the Aurora Vault, where it can't hurt anyone." Borealis nodded. "You've done well, Mickey and Minnie. The crown's power will be sealed away once more thanks to your bravery." As the cave began to collapse, Captain Frostclaw and his crew arrived just in time to whisk them back to the North Star. From the safety of the ship, they watched the crystal abyss sink beneath the ice, taking its secrets with it. Back at the North Pole, Santa greeted them with open arms. "You've saved us all again," he said warmly. "The winter crown is safe, and the balance of winter magic is restored. You truly are Christmas heroes." As they returned home to Mouston, Mickey and Minnie couldn't help but wonder what other adventures awaited them. But for now, they were content to curl up by the fire, knowing they had made the world a safer, brighter place.